All right, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. So sign up for the YouTube program, or YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell for notifications, comment down below, and of course, upvote the video itself. Now, we have talked about why 2024 is so important to Ole Miss football, and specifically Ole Miss athletics, honestly. With the basketball coaching hire and everything going on, this is going to be a major, influential 12-month period in Ole Miss athletics because 2024, unbelievably important. We talked about how Texas and Oklahoma will be fine in the SEC. They're what might be a 10-1 team will probably be a 9-3 team, but Texas and Oklahoma would not have come into the SEC if that wasn't a problem. The whole thing that everybody wants to do is getting into that tournament, and the SEC is going to position them in a way that allows them to do that. No. So the question becomes now, what happens now? Is the expansion over? Probably not. Although 16 and the way it works in the SEC is absolutely perfect. But if you look at the map right now of teams that are in the SEC, there's absolutely 3 states that are kind of missing. And one of them you wouldn't necessarily consider an SEC state, but it fits because of Missouri. So if you're looking at holes on the map, there are 3 states that I think we need to look at for the future. 1, North Carolina, obvious, free space, right? 2, Virginia, free space. Everybody can see that. When you look at the map, those stick out like sore thumbs. And those are probably the reasons the ACC is going to be very nervous. The Big Ten is also hunting around with ACC teams, but that grant of rights goes to 2035. It's like 12 years from now. So we have time before that happens. The other that is interesting to me, and like I said, it's not an SEC state, but honestly, neither is Missouri. And if you want to build up programs other than football, and specifically men's basketball, Kansas. So 3 teams, or 3 states, could make the footprint very even. And it actually, if you look at a map, like Kansas is pretty much the geographical center of the United States. Below that would be Southeast. So it would make a little bit of sense. But the Virginia and Virginia Tech thing, whichever one, the SEC and Big Ten is probably going to fight over Virginia and North Carolina. That's the fight coming up. And that is what you should probably keep your eye on. But I'm the type person that's like, hey, the SEC, if they're going to do this, they need to do this. We need to basically recreate a modern version of the Southern Conference from 1927 or whenever that was. Bring in Virginia. Bring in North Carolina. Heck, bring in Duke or NC State. Bring in Georgia Tech. Bring in Clemson. Bring in Miami. Bring in Florida State. Bring in Kansas. Bring in Oklahoma State. And you make this nice little league that gets separated. Now, the problem is when you do that, you have to do divisions. College football cannot play everybody, and you're not going to have a single division set up like we are going to likely have with the 16-team conference. But if you do it, you can organize it in such a way that it'll be essentially the whole southeast portion of the United States. It'll be by far the most valuable conference. And it would involve teams that actually really care about what's going on. Whenever we joke about it means more, it's because it does. So we'll see exactly how that goes. Now, I'm really excited about this. Tomorrow we are going to have Jonathan Davis from Locked On Longhorns. I'm trying to get John Williams or Josh Helmer on from Locked On Sooners to talk about it as well. We are going to talk about 2024 for the next week. It's a slow content week. It is what it is. We're going towards Delaware State. We're going to have Derek Vandy Griff on. We're going to talk a little bit of baseball, but content-wise, this is kind of a perfect time to do it. So we'll see exactly how it goes. But again, I wanted to get this recorded before the Super Bowl. I've got a ton of people coming over. We're going to watch the game and enjoy it. But I think it's very important with 2024 coming in and what all that means. It is the most important year in the history of Ole Miss football. And that includes when they won national championships in the late 50s, early 60s. That includes everything. 2024 is the year that Ole Miss needs to be working for. Everything needs to be pointing towards that. Whenever we talk about Walker Howard and we talk about Ole Miss's quarterback competition, we talk about how important development is this year and why it's important for him to get game reps this year, because Ole Miss will be better if he is the guy in 2024 and ready to go. And it's really, really interesting stuff. The defense has this year to get right because it's going to be a little bit of a clunky fit this year. Next year, it will be important that everything is there. You need to recruit to it. You need to figure out what's going on. You need to hit the transfer portal. You need to do what you can to transform that defense from a 3-2-6 to what Pete Golding does. We've got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming up. And it all starts and really kicks off with this 2024 season. Texas and Oklahoma coming into the SEC. It's a seminal, transformative moment that everybody needs to kind of get their mind right for the time being. Like I said, it's going to be really great. I'm planning on doing potentially shows this year, basically that just gives people updates of what's going on with Texas and Oklahoma. Talking about that. Seeing what's going on. Arch Watch. Quinn Ewers, which, by the way, I think Quinn Ewers is going to be a really good quarterback for the University of Texas. I think that's the wild card that everybody has. But we've gotten to the point where it doesn't matter what you have. It's what you're getting that's more important. That's what everybody looks at. Even in the signing class, we do the same thing with Walker Howard, honestly. But it is what it is. This 2024 season with the playoff in Texas and Oklahoma and everything coalescing in one space, a new schedule for the SEC. Most important year in SEC football for the Ole Miss Rebels. Not really close. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Ole Miss Rebels have a chance to make that 12-team playoff. They're going to be really, really good. I'm just pretty fired up about it. Anyway, thanks again for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. Now you can make sure and check out our brand new podcast, Locked On College Basketball. It has everything you need to know about college basketball in one place. Hear from big name experts, insiders, coaches, and players. It's Locked On College Basketball. It's available on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl last night. We are going to talk about this 2024 a little bit for the next couple of days. We're going to get ready for the opening of the Delaware State series and this little content vacuum that is going on. We are going to have some fun right now because it doesn't make sense not to. Anyway, thank you very much for stopping by today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.